on that one. Although we do have a nice... This split in the opening is... break this down. What are they going for?
I mean, this is a pretty standard split, at least in terms of Jerd. However, the big change is that they're having 5-Gauge move off and support the mid fight as opposed to Nos. The main reason for that is that 5-Gauge is no longer a kind of Selly build, obviously, so he has to be in those fights to kind of put down the damage, whereas Nos can kind of sustain a little bit longer turn conditions, which is really good in 1v1s versus, per se, a Dagger Elementalist, where he's able to gather up the conditions that Olrun's going to be able to put down and, you know, kind of turn them on him and sustain in that fight for a pretty long time. But we did just see big damage drop. Backpack dropped as well. Dribs is still in the fight, but he's not really doing too much here as well. He gets dropped, so we're already going to be seeing the damage that's being dropped out from members of this Jerd team. We're able to take out 3 members of this Radioactive team already, and this is pretty much where I have to say that this is already not going well for Radioactive, and I think that this is pretty much the point at which Jerd really just starts taking it. Nos was able to win that 1v1, able to kind of hold that long enough for his team to kind of move over and get some support there. And looks like Crisis now going to be taken down as he was chased out completely here. And they're going to try to go for the res, but it's definitely not going to be happening here for them.
That was stunning. That was insane. Just in 2 seconds flat, I saw 2 members of Radioactive go from nearly full all the way down and then dead. At least it seemed like that to me. Is that...
Yeah, I mean, that downstate cleave, especially with 5-Gauge, I mean, we take a look at it right now. I mean, 5-Gauge is about to be opening up on Hinge here, where he already has a couple of members of his team that are just basically like rotating in, and they're going to try to get some cooldowns to be popped from this blue team, and Big Damage already did pop those cooldowns. So looking at 5-Gauge here, he's going to be able to put down some pretty hefty damage here, especially when targets are immobile. But Crisis is going to be going into that Rampage, and there's the Toss Elixir X that we were just talking about, able to completely eliminate it. So that Rampage is gone here, completely nullified by that Toss Elixir X from 5-Gauge, so able to completely take that out. So, I mean, NG still, a lot of people have been kind of polarized in opinions in terms of NG's viability in the meta. I mean, that just, I think that pretty much solves it right there, that able to take out and just cancel out Rampages every single time.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get that done, I'm really glad you were able to bring that one up earlier, because that changed the fight completely around. Without that, what kind of a resolution are we looking at out of Jerd versus Radioactive on that point?
Well, I mean, like, regardless, blue team was still able to keep up the pressure, and they were able to take out Phantoram. Looks like they almost took out Toker, but he was able to get some stealth for himself, able to get some heals from Chase. And then they opened up on Backpack, their former teammate there, completely deleting him there out of stealth, and he is gone right now. He's going to have to wait for that respawn. Toker as well as Wakey are all over Drips here with 5-Gauge supporting with some grenade throws. Looks like they're going to try to get some damage on him, but they're going to probably wind up pulling back a little bit, as we still have Nos actually in a 1v1 with Olrun. Olrun actually did a pretty good job of getting the decap there
Crisis
early on.
As well, getting very low on that point, having to kind of back off as best he can, but he's staying just right on the edge. And if he can get out, no, he's actually going to stay in the dirt for a little bit. And I'm wondering if they're going to be able to get the res off, because he just wanted to deal damage. That's all he wanted. And now, well, that's going to be respawn. So there's going to be 4 on the field from Radioactive. Jerd taking 5, and they should be able to run away with this. I mean, 168 to 37. Is it too soon?
It's hard to tell at this point. I think, I mean, they're doing a really good job of holding that. I mean, blue team definitely had an opportunity there they should have gotten 2 kills, and they should have been able to kind of turn things back around and push forward at least a little bit and kind of hold up Jerd a little bit longer and try to get like a 1-to-1 cap going. But with how it is right now, they were able to completely recover, and Jerd now are able to take out Big Damage as well as Drib. So they're going to be taking Hinge here, and it looks like they're going to be pulling back. Toker going to be on the move here to try to take out Sir Crisis, who is in this 1v1 with Nos. Nos doing a great job. This is exactly what I was talking about. I mean, the blind pressure onto Sir Crisis here, not able to get any damage off whatsoever onto Nos because of that plague there. I mean, that's really what it's all about, and making sure that you nullify those Rampages, because he didn't manage to get anything, and now he's going to die.
Yeah, and Nos, by the way, looking at the way he took on Olrun and then Crisis, by the way, he took out 2 members of Radioactive 1v1, and even with a little overlap in that, you can just see everything about the way he's moving, everything about the way he's playing. He knows exactly what his opponent's going to do, and he's able to kind of just cater to that or play around that in such a way that is so so mesmerizing to watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and then let's see, in the mid-fight, we might have, looks like a Dribs right now taking a 2v1, not getting taken down yet, at least holding on for now. And at the same time, we have Crisis jumping around, seeing if he can take on Magic Toker, but Toker, of course, all the time.
We are actually going to be seeing this GG'd out. We got confirmation from this blue team. So Absurd taking it in a GG there from Radioactive. Already they're going to be 1-0 off of Forest, and they're going to be going into Legacy, arguably their best map and Radioactive's worst map. So not in a good spot for Radioactive there.
Ouch. They called GG?
Yep.
I mean, I felt like that was a good play from Nos, but I didn't know it was that good. That was impressive, but it wasn't. I didn't know if that was game ending. At least on its own.
At that point, it's hard to come back at that stage from onto a team like the Absurd, and that's one of those moments where you really just kind of have to take a step back and be like, I don't want to get mad any more than I already am. I want to make sure that I can go into the next game fresh, and that's what they decided to do. So
it's actually a really good point, something to pay attention to, which is, of course, your team's morale. If they're able to stay focused, there may be one leader who can stay focused and can lead very well, but if everyone else isn't on the same page, everyone else isn't feeling up to it, you're going to get this weird kind of disjointed kind of communication, disjointed play. Everything's just not going to be as it should be, which you can't play anything but your best against the Absurd. So,
yeah, absolutely.
I guess I have to completely agree with calling a GG there, although I do have to beg a question playing devil's advocate.
Okay.
Could you just play it out knowing as the entire team, guys, we're just trying to play for some time to think about the next match?
I think it depends. I think it's a good thing for them, at least, and for their mentality to kind of end things on maybe not such a sour note. I mean, if you get completely demoralized, then going into the next matchup, especially one where, I mean, just looking at the statistics of it, especially since the last patch, I mean, it's not looking good for them. So they definitely need to make sure that they're in the right mentality, and that's the best thing for them. But let's go into this matchup. Let's take a look at the map. Once again, this is Legacy of the Faux Fire. So this is Absurd's probably statistically best map, I would have to say, in terms of what they're able to do on this map. And then since this major patch, since this big patch update, Radioactive's absolute worst match.
Now, I should point something out. If they have won before their last win on it, of course.
Yeah.
If they had won 0 times, they would have increased their wins on this map infinitely by adding just 1 win. If they just made 1 win and everything else was losses, it would be infinite percentile increase. It's amazing. Think of how much better that means they've gotten. Just yeah.
Rambling.
I thought it was funny at first, and then I realized that this was not statistics. They're not funny. I forgot about that part, and then I remembered that I'm not funny. So then I had to remember that we're commentating Guild Wars, and that I should probably look and see if anyone's changed any of their builds. Anything?
It doesn't look like any changes were going to be made for this. It looks like Crisis is going to be opting to take the same setup. Princess Ulrun did make a change, so they're going to be having another warrior here as opposed to the Elementalist, the tanky Elementalist build that he had before, which was basically getting completely nullified by Nos, his ability to just defeat Ulrun actually pretty quickly, especially as one person, because of the way that those signets work, and able to turn the burn damage onto him, get the Condi stacked up onto Ulrun. But he's going to be taking Greatsword Hammer, Rune of the Strength, Berserker Amulet going to be taking Strength, Defense, Discipline. Very similar build to Sir Crisis, but Crisis obviously making a couple of adjustments in terms of the heal as well as the rune there. So let's take a look at this right now. The game is starting right now. What is happening with these splits? What are we seeing here?
All right, so looks like to me it's just going to be nothing too sneaky, although a lot of people going towards water. No, wait.
Looks like a little bit of miscommunication from the side of this blue team. Crisis looked like he was going to go home to support Backpack there, as well as
it looked like
Dribs there, but he made a turn, and looks like he's going to try to support Ulrun, who's now in a 1v1 with Wakey, but big damage is going to cycle in. We already see Nos taking a lot of pressure here, but he's turning it now onto Backpack, almost takes him out there, and the CC is coming out onto Noskok, and it looks like Sir Crisis now popping Rampages, trying to keep things going and trying to get damage onto Nos. Nos going to be going for that Signet heal there as he does leech it, but Sir Crisis still since that Plague is down, since 5 gauge, I don't think that 5 gauge has the House Elixir. I think he missed it, and he did indeed. So this is not looking too good for them. They might actually lose this first team fight here. Nas is still in down state. Doesn't look like there's going to be too much support coming his way. However, Backpack is down as well. He's going to be staying alive, though. It looks like at least long enough. Oh, it looks like Nas is getting a little bit of a res, and they're trying to put some damage down into Backpack, and who's going to win? Oh, Nas gets back up. Backpack is out of the fight. The DPS coming out from the side of this Abjure team. They're going to be able to turn this completely around.
And that's it. Crisis is on the ground as well. Dribs will follow him up. And big damage. That's it. He's the old... Oh, Dribs. Dribs does get back up for just a moment.
That is going to be Vapor Form, though.
Oh, dang it. I misjudged that. I thought it was... Oh, I should have been looking at him. But it's not going to make a difference.
Looks like Olrun is self-resing in anticipation of perhaps big damage coming out, but 5 gauge is like, or not 5 gauge, Phantom is like, no, thank you, I don't want you doing that. So he's going to be dying out, and it looks like this is the point. The 3 cap is about to happen, and this is just pretty much where they're going to hold them at spawn for the next couple of minutes. We're probably going to see a GG if nothing happens in the next couple of minutes.
I think right here, watching Backpack is probably the answer. He's been dancing back and forth a little bit. I think the fact that you have to wait for everyone else says a lot about the place that you are as a team.
Well,
right
I mean,
now.
It's definitely a good point to regroup and make sure that you go out as strong as you possibly can, because that's the thing with Abjured. If you go out strong out and you try to get into a situation where you're 3v5, you're going to lose.
I'm not saying it's a wrong decision. What I was saying is, what I was hoping to say was, it just speaks to the level at which the Abjured are dominating you or playing against you. If you have to wait for everyone else to catch up, if you have to account for that, it really speaks to kind of your control and also maybe your confidence. Of course, not overconfident, but that you could be erring on the side of underconfident if you end up waiting too long or waiting too much.
Yeah, it looks like Olrun wasn't able to get too much out of that Defiance stance heal there, so he's going to be dropping pretty shortly if he can't get some support for himself. But he does manage to get it. He gets a 7k crit onto Toker there with that backbreaker and completely eliminates him, actually finishes him off as well, so Toker's out. But there's still a lot of damage being dropped onto Olrun as well as Dribs. But Olrun going into Rampage here. He's going to try to put some damage now onto Chaith. It looks like Chaith he's going to be rolling right on out of here, and Olrun gets eliminated here. Even in his Rampage form, they just stack the Condies up on him and eliminate him from the fight. 2 caps still in favor of this Abjured team. Looks like Phantom is in kind of like a 1v2 scenario with Backpack and Sir Crisis, who are trying to take him out. But if he can sustain long enough for his team to get there, then they'll probably win this. But it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. Toker trying to get some support for his teammate, but I have to say, Phantom not looking so hot right now. Abjured looks like they're a couple of steps away. They might be able to get the res going. It looks like that will actually happen.
Yeah, big damage. He's just going to be left alone in the meantime. I think the Abjured knows what they want to do, and they're going to be able to split up accordingly. A little overmatch going towards the mine, although Waterfall, by the way, pay attention to that. Olrun's able to grab control, which points on the board. That's important. Radioactive at least is still staying focused on the fact that they need to control some points here and there, even though the team fights are going less than swimmingly, I guess we could say. They are at least
definitely going south for sure. Wakey going to get the stomp off on Dribs. They're going to recollect on that graveyard node, and it looks like that's going to be a 2 cap in favor of this red team. And once again, this is Toker just getting that decap over on the only point that blue team has been able to get, and that's that waterfall node. Toker going to go for that full cap, because this is just that time where they're just going to be 5v2ing, 5v1ing even, and they're going to take out Olrun and just keep people split up, because that's what they're all about. Just win a couple of team fights, and then once you get them on stagger, it's just completely downhill from there. It's just an easy victory for them to keep going, keep 5v2ing, 5v1ing, 4v1ing, whatever it is. Just create those favorable opportunities for them where they know they're going to come out on top, and basically just live off of them.
Yeah, and then, I mean, these guys are even chatting a little bit to each other right now, because they know where it is. 275 to 47. Just absolutely sick place.
Yeah, 5 gauge actually almost completely one-shot Backpack there, but Backpack was able to get some heals for himself as well as Dribs there, his teammate on this radioactive team, so he's going to be fine for the time being, so it looks like he's going to still be chased out. But if we look over on the node here, Nas is still getting pressured a little bit by Sir Crisis. Sir Crisis trying to get damage down on him, but Sir Crisis is actually taking a turn for the worst here. Got so much bleed stacks, got burn stacks coming on him as well. The Defy Pain comes out, but that bleed damage is still ticking pretty strong here, still keeping some incessant damage going off on him. Crisis is kind of forced to pull off, and looks like he's going to be leaving the fight. Drib's now actually going to be dropping pretty shortly. Looks like he's going to be falling down, and there he goes. He is in downstate. Big damage going for that res. Fanaram and Wakey all over him with that silly DD pressure. They're probably going to be able to take him out, and Big Damage is going to be forced to kind of leave. He got mowed there by the toss Elixir X from 5 gauge.
That was pretty brutal to watch from my perspective here. Next to you, just that's a little painful actually.
Yeah, it looks like blue team is going to finally get that decap back on Waterfall, which happened about a minute or two ago. So they are going to potentially get a cap here, but Toker is on the move. Looks like he's going to be able to kind of go in there with the support of maybe even Nos if they decide to go in together. However, it looks like they're just going to decide to play it safe a little bit. Nos is going to go in for that 1v1, which is a good option, at least in my mind. Looks like Toker will follow that up, which is definitely the best route for them to take.
Yeah, and well, Backpack's able to get the Waterfall. We've got that.
Only got about 5 points from it there, though.
Hey,
so
5 whole points. Percentage increase in points is massive. Statistically.
So this is pretty much going to be GG, and it looks like
Backpack's going to go chill out with in the backfield. Same with Crisis. Looks like they want to put up a final stand.
Yeah,
Big's on the way.
They're trying to at least hold something here. It looks like Bullrun trying to get a little bit of a 1v1 versus Fanaram. I mean, at this point, Absurd is definitely going to win. I think it's no question in anyone's mind at this stage in the game that Absurd will win, but it looks like this is pretty much going to be it. We're going to let them play it out. No one's called GG yet.
Wait.
Uh-oh, Backpack almost eliminated Fanaram there. Fanaram able to kind of recover at least a little bit. Looks like he's going to try and pull away, but right now we're actually still seeing Ulren was taken out. 5 gauge actually got his own Rampage pulled off there. Toker able to put some damage down too, and able to get some damage on Dribs, who is probably going to fall pretty shortly as well.
Now, it looked like it was going to be a dance-off over near the Little Lord, but that's going to be at 500. Right there, the Absurd take it, and in absolutely spectacular fashion.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And, you know, 5 gauge actually proven a lot of validity there. I mean, like he was doing a lot of work there, got the Elixir X's that we were talking about before, or not even just the Elixir X's, but also the tosses as well. I think he went 2-1 on Rampages, if not 3-1. I think he got 1 Tornado, that whole setup that we saw in that.
Yeah, I don't think he was able to get really any momentum at all. You saw the results in the team fights even. If he'd gotten the Rampages off at all and been able to get the damage actually going, it would have seemed so much closer. But because he was so on point every single time, we almost didn't notice the Rampages happened at all because they were handled instantly.
Yeah, absolutely. Which
was just on point. And you brought this one up as probably one of the major things that was going to decide whether or not Radioactive would be able to compete or not with them.
Yeah.
And I think that really answers it as the...
Yeah, and Nas's answer to all those Rampages, I mean, they felt, I would have to say, probably next to no pressure from those Rampages, apart from one time where they almost lost it, actually, but they were able to recover on that Legacy match in the beginning there. I mean, that was pretty much just an oversight from Radioactive side. But, I mean, for the most part, other than that, they were able to completely answer the Rampage every single time. You know, with the toss Elixir X, with Nas going into Plague form, getting the blind spam out, or even just putting down some condition pressure so that once he got low, that Defy Pain didn't really matter because the conditions would take him out.
Yeah, it was just, everything was well accounted for on every part of that. And I actually really loved seeing, you guys don't get to see it, but the chat goes on a little bit, and it's a little banter back and forth, nice friendly stuff. It is refreshing to know or be reminded that people from Radioactive and people from the Absurd are still pretty cool. You know, they're able to make little jokes here and there, or at least there was one point, I almost want to look back at it, and it was Ulrun, actually. Ulrun going down. I almost had that, and it was actually a typo. He forgot to type that, but the little text bubble popped up just as he died. I don't know, just something. I notice these little things, and they kind of stick with me because I love seeing character from players. Because a lot of the time, you don't get to sit down and you don't get to talk with them throughout the entire thing. And when you see those little things come out, it just kind of puts a smile on your face. But, I mean, congratulations to the Absurd.
Congratulations to Absurd winning the finals. Another monthly finals victory for Absurd. Congratulations to Radioactive for taking second place. Thanks to all the teams for coming out this month and, you know, really giving it their all. We saw some really great matches today. And I really want to say thank you to also the viewers as well for coming through and watching us as well. It's been a fun day for sure.
Yeah. Thanks to you, man. Thank you for coming out. This is the first time I've been able to meet you, so it's been a pleasure. I hope you come back next time, too. Because you and Storm, both you guys, really put on a great show. You really got to know this game. So please come back next time. It's been a pleasure. And from me to you guys, thank you very much. This has been the monthly Guild Wars Finals for June. We'll see you in July.